because of who actually is extracting the minerals and in the process killing the people. Sadly, it's the same players who are complicit in the crimes against the Palestinian people. It's the European community, it's the USA, and it is Israel once again that is involved in Eastern Congo. And of course, all of us have our cell phones, and there's a little mineral called coltan, and it is mined by slave labor right there in Eastern Congo. Anybody who plays with their Xbox, Bill Gates has interest there because you can't have an Xbox without coltan. And not only that, but there's uranium and gold and diamonds and everything else in Democratic Republic of Congo. And of course, the Congolese people can't have access to their own resources. That's got to be reserved for people in the West. So we had a strategy session about trying to figure out how to deal with the impunity of U.S. proxy allies there, Uganda and Rwanda, that invaded in 1998 and never left. Then the next day, the 5th, I traveled to Paris. And on the 6th, I had a hip-hop meeting with the members of the Afro-Arab community out in the banlieue. And I was in Grigny, which is the hardest, roughest, toughest of all of the banlieue. Now, the last time I was in Paris, you might remember that Paris burned for 3 days. And that was also in the banlieue. Well, that was in Clichy, and I went there and I met the young people who were resisting police oppression in Clichy. Well, of course, they have a similar situation of oppressive state-sponsored oppression of the immigrant community, and it's at its worst in Grigny. And so that's where I went, and I met with the hip-hop leaders there. Actually, the singers, the hip-hop icons all came into Grigny, and we had a wonderful political discussion, not for partying, but for talking and planning and strategizing. And also at the end of the evening, their idea was to do a fundraiser for the people of Haiti. Then I left the very next day, March 7th, and I participated in a fundraiser for Gaza in London. March 8th, that was just last night, I did a day of 911 Truth, 7/7 Truth. 7/7, of course, is the tube terror incident that happened in London. And we did an evening of 911 Truth discussions, probably, well, the room was full and people were sitting on the floor. And that was at the University of London. And so now on the 9th, I'm all the way in Calgary. And so you'll have to pardon me if my head is spinning, okay? But what we're all gathered here for, in addition to supporting what Splitting the Sky did, was, I think, to express our outrage at the impunity of criminals. Yeah. We have a criminal class that has seized control of our governments. And I put that in the plural because there was a time when I was a member of Congress and I would travel all over the world. And, you know, I had a little bit of embarrassment that I, you know, represented the United States, but I was traveling and meeting with people, the dispossessed, the marginalized, the alienated, to let them know that there was at least one person who was sitting in the Congress who cared about them. I went where the State Department said you can't go. Well, I went there. But there was one spot wherever I went among the marginalized. And that was what Canada was doing internationally. Canada had a reputation for helping people, for being there where nobody else wanted to go. The Canadians were there. What happened? What happened? So now, unfortunately, Canada is joined at the hip with the international transgenerational criminal class. And we, people of conscience, we have to join together to stop it. It was Mario Savio in the 1960s who said that we have to put our entire bodies against the gears and the levers and the wheels of the machine. And we have to say to the owners, you will stop it or we will stop it. So that's why I got on a boat and tried to go to Gaza with medical supplies. Boat was rammed by the Israeli military. I don't even know how to swim, so I was really in trouble. Got back on a boat again, and then was kidnapped by the Israelis and spent 7 days in prison because I wanted children in Gaza to have coloring books and crayons. I wanted to present my physical self to people who were the victims of the policies of my country. That was my way of putting my body against the gears and the levers and the wheels of the machine. Splitting the Sky did the same thing. Splitting the Sky probably knew Mario Savio. I don't know. Did you know Mario? Oh, I just wish I had a chance to meet these wonderful historic people who really are examples of the best of what humanity can be. And so Splitting the Sky lived up to what we all think we can be and know that we ought to be. And he put his body there and tried to do something now I want to explore, since we now have the Calgary principles and a particular body of law, and I know that legal arguments can change just like that, but there's a legal argument that's been presented now in the case of Splitting the Sky that suggests that maybe, I don't know, if George Bush is going to come back. But if George Bush doesn't come back, guess what? We have too many criminals. No. Because if Condoleezza Rice comes here, I want to be there. See? They're all parading through this place. So we will probably have ample opportunity to exercise these Calgary principles.
And we just got rid of pale-faced Palin.
But these Calgary principles are for us to decide. They haven't been articulated. They haven't been. It's a process that we want to start from here.
Well, certainly Splitting the Sky has started a process that makes me proud. And that's why I got on a plane and came here and met his lovely wife. At the end of this, I will be available for questions. I think I have satisfied the need so far.
The night is young, but
okay,
should we hear from the brave man himself?
Yes, we must.